Usually what happens is, and this is one of the key complaints that I keep hearing from people, is that Akshat, I'm able to think in English really fast. And when I try to speak it, my tongue frequency does not match with what I'm thinking. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So let me start today's video by sharing a small anecdote with you. So when I was growing up, I used to really struggle to speak in English, and one of the primary reasons was that I used to use a lot of fillers. For example, I would say, you know, right, yes, you know. So I used to do that quite often, and that really derailed my progress in terms of speaking English fluently. Now, one of the primary reasons why that happened was that I was a cricket aficionado. So I used to watch cricket like literally all day. I used to play cricket professionally. I was a state level cricketer. So I idolized all the people who were playing cricket back in the day. So I used to follow people like Mohammad Azharuddin. Now, he spoke well, nothing wrong in terms of how he used to speak. But in a 5-minute speech, he used to say, you know, for approximately 2.5 minutes. So I ended up subconsciously training myself to start using all these fillers. And this continued, not only just in school, but it continued in college. It also continued when I went to a business school. It continued when I ended up working with top consulting firms. So how did I improve upon that? Over the years, I realized that I was getting into a really bad habit. I built a system. So it's a 6-point system that I'm going to speak about that can help you do away with using these fillers. This is what this video is about. Having strong communication skills is literally the #1 money making skill that is out there. So please listen to this video carefully and watch it till the very end. I will share with you very practical tips. These tips have been very useful for my students who have ended up going to top tier business schools, who have ended up working at top tier consulting firms. So listen to this video very carefully. Just a very quick shout out to the sponsors of this video, Cambly. I absolutely love their product. My dad uses Cambly very frequently. He uses it to improve his language skills, and he has been making a lot of progress on that front. I absolutely love their product. You can use the link in the description box to avail a discount. They have very friendly teachers. They are very nice to speak with. It allows you to gain and build confidence systematically. So go and check it out, and let me start the video by sharing the first key tip. So the first key tip is that you must use silence intelligently. Okay, let me break that down for you. So usually if you imagine yourself to be in an interview setting, this is how it usually goes, right? So comment and tell me if this is something that you align with. So you would walk into the interview room, you will feel very nervous, the interviewer will shake your hand and they will make you sit down. Then they will offer you a glass of water if they are nice and probably some cashews. And then you kickstart the interview process. And at the start, you will be super nervous. You will be super nervous, especially if you are interviewing for the first time. It will just be a nerve-wracking experience for you. And I've been in that situation multiple times where I have gotten nervous during my interview and I've ruined my interview. Okay, so you need to understand first and foremost that when you get nervous, you start rambling a lot, right? For example, when the interviewer says that, hey, can you introduce yourself? Then you will start with the mugged up answer. Somewhere along the way, you will lose the train of your thought and you will start speaking more. The more you speak, the worse it gets for you. Why? Because you are rambling. So it's very important to understand not to ramble when you're speaking. Extremely important. It is okay to take pause intelligently. For example, if the interviewer asks you that, hey, can you introduce yourself? You start out with your mugged up answer that, okay, my name is Akshat Shrivastava. I currently run a YouTube channel and I also run my own businesses. This is something that I've mugged up and I'll be fluent at this. Then I got stuck. If I'm stuck, then I will not start using or, okay, right. No, right? I will just take a pause. Then I will think of a root word, right? So root word means that, for example, I will pick words like professionally, or I will pick from my extracurricular point of view, or I will pick from my college experience, or I will pick a certain theme, right? So root word essentially to me means a theme, right? So I will say that, okay, my name is Akshat, I run a YouTube channel, and over the years I have built multiple businesses. Then I get stuck, right? Then I start getting nervous. So I'll pick a root word. So I'll pick that, okay, from an extracurricular viewpoint, I enjoy singing, I enjoy playing cricket, I spend a lot of time in terms of undertaking outdoor activities. So what I did was that I picked up 50% of my answer which was mugged up, took a pause, thought of a root word and aligned it and continued with my answer. So this is a simple trick that silence is super powerful. Use it, you will benefit a lot. So silence plus using root words. So this is literally the first technique that I will teach you. Okay, one very quick question that people have for me here is that, okay, Akshat, how long can the pause be, right? Because if I get stuck and if I don't know what to say next, can I take like a 5-minute pause? No. Please don't do that. That will be bad. You need to be natural. You need to come across as natural. Usually you are taking a pause to think about a root word, right? So it should not take you more than 5 seconds to think about it, and it is okay to take like a 3-4 second break. Nothing wrong with it. You can fill up that silence just by smiling or adjusting your spectacles or adjusting your hands or whatever position, right? Or adjusting your chair. It could be anything. Just take 5 seconds pause, think of a root word and get started. The important point here is that you must stay in the zone, right? In the zone means that, for example, when you take a pause, majority of us would start fretting that, you know what, okay, my interview was going so well and I was speaking so well. I spoke the 50% of the answer so well. Then I'm taking a break. I'm done. I don't have any job. And then bad things will start pouring into your brain and you will make yourself even more nervous. So important thing is have a system. So the simple process is mugged up answers, 50% done. Take a pause for how many seconds? 5 seconds, not more than that. Think of a root word, incorporate it and keep building your answer. Done. If you love the tip, hit the like button. Makes me super happy. Helps this video get across to more people. Now the second tip is that you need to match your brain frequency with your tongue frequency. Okay. Usually what happens is, and this is one of the key complaints that I keep hearing from people, is that Akshat, I'm able to think in English really fast. And when I try to speak it, my tongue frequency does not match with what I'm thinking. So if your brain frequency and your tongue frequency is not matching, what will happen is that you will think very fast and then you will blurt out something and then you will imagine that, okay, this is not what I intended to say. Then you will backtrack it, you will add more data to it, you will end up with the urge of speaking more and more and you get into the loop and again you start rambling. Okay, so this is what you do, and actually there is a fundamental process behind it. You need to understand two reasons why your brain frequency and your tongue frequency does not match. So there are two primary reasons for it. There can be multiple reasons. So first and foremost, for most of us, English is not our thinking language. We don't think in English. So try to do that exercise more and more. So for example, when you're sitting in a room alone or when you are watching a boring lecture, then start talking to yourself in English so that you become more fluent in English as a thinking language. Only when you think in a very clear manner in English, you will be able to communicate or verbalize it in a very clear tone as well. So this is very obvious that English is not our thinking language. Therefore, our tongue frequency and our brain frequency does not match, and therefore we end up rambling a lot. And English is not my thinking language also. There is nothing wrong. All we need to do is put in a little bit of practice so as to become better in terms of thinking in English. Now the second reason why our brain frequency and tongue frequency does not match is that because we get nervous, right? Now, many people imagine, and people give like really weird advice here that, you know what, when you're going and speaking to this very famous person, you should not get nervous. No, being nervous is very normal, and even I get nervous now despite putting across 180 videos. So being nervous is very natural. It's a normal human emotion. So there is nothing wrong in terms of being nervous. What is wrong is that you don't know how to control your nervousness, because that translates into negative results. So you must understand how to control your nervousness. So let me explain that by giving you a few examples. So in my case, when I'm nervous, what usually happens is that my body parts start manifesting in weird ways, right? For example, I start shaking my legs more, right? So that gives me a cue that, hey, Akshat, you're nervous. So what I say to myself is that, okay, let me slow down the pace. For example, if I am speaking 200 words per minute, I will deliberately ensure that I am speaking less, right? Because it becomes very important for you to control your pace when you are getting nervous. So this is the biggest tip that I can give you here. For other people, they start rambling more. So you must understand that, okay, I'm rambling more, so I should use fewer words. So whatever works for you, you need to first and foremost understand how is that nervousness manifesting in your case. If that point is clear and there is a very clear telltale sign that, okay, hey, this is the reason why I'm getting nervous and this is how my nervousness gets manifested, you can figure out a cure for that, right? You can start attacking it during the interview. If you tend to speak faster when you get nervous, okay, try to control your speed. So in essence, if you want to align your tongue with your brain, then what you need to do? 1, make English your thinking language. B, try to figure out how to control your nervousness. Which brings me to a related point, which is the point 3 of my framework, that most of us tend to speak very fast. Now, this is not a nationalistic attack. This is an anecdote that I'll tell you very shortly. This is something that I was told during my time at INSEAD, that Indians and Chinese people, they tend to speak English really fast, right? So here's the anecdote. So when I was at INSEAD Business School, so at INSEAD you get to interact, meet with people from 75 nationalities. I absolutely loved the experience. And we had a communications class with a professor who used to be a journalist with BBC, right? So it was a fascinating class. It was called as Art of Communication. And one project on that Art of Communication class was that we had to speak in front of a camera in front of the entire class. So our class had approximately 200 people. So we had to get up on stage, speak in front of a camera and wrap up whatever we wanted to speak in 1 minute. That's it. So that was what the task was. Almost all my Indians and Chinese classmates were given one common feedback. What was the feedback? The feedback was that you must speak slowly, right? And these were the words of my professor, that Indians and Chinese, when they are speaking in front of other nationalities, they tend to speak very, very fast. So you need to cut down your pace. Now you might ask me that, okay, what is a good pace at which we should speak? So technically you should be speaking less than 150 words per minute. That is the maximum that you should go, not more than 150 words per minute, absolute maximum. Don't go beyond that. Now, this change will not happen overnight. It's not as if that you're speaking like 300 words per minute and suddenly you will be able to shrink it to 150 words per minute, because again, what would happen? Your tongue frequency and your brain frequency will not match. You will not get used to that pace. So, if you understand that you need to slow down your pace, then cut down that pace little by little, right? So, cut down like 5% of your pace, right? From 300 words per minute, bring it down to, let's say, 270 words per minute. Then subsequently cut it down further. So that is how you will see gradual improvement. So again, very, very important point, that you must not speak fast, because as Indians, we might be able to understand each other. But when you're speaking with international audiences, they might not be used to your accent. Very similar to how you might not be used to their accent. So they need time to understand and process whatever you're saying. So super important for you to control your pace and do what? And align it with your brain and tongue frequency, right? Always keep referring to that earlier point. Now the fourth tip that I have for you is that you must use simple and familiar words in your vocabulary. Now I meet a lot of students, they tell me that, hey Akshat, you know what, you speak well. Can you give us some speaking tips? I've been learning thesaurus and I've been mugging up all these different dictionaries. Good strategy or not? Horrible strategy, right? Because you have a working vocabulary, right? There is a difference between having a vocabulary that you're mugging up to clear your GRE or GMAT, that's different. But your working vocabulary is that the vocabulary that you use quite frequently. So pick up some good words, really consolidate it. For example, let's say that you learn 1,000 words. Now use simple words, start with simple things, learn simple connecting words, build that vocabulary intelligently, and then move on to more difficult things. People, when they have just joined college, first year of college, they hear Dr. Shashi Tharoor and they say that, you know what, okay, I'm going to beat him by next year by mugging up the entire dictionary. No, you can't beat him on vocabulary, and honestly, you should not even try to copy him. You must just build your vocabulary that works well for you. Whatever basic words you are able to use very intelligently, build it organically, do that, right? It's okay to have a word list of like 1,000 words that you're mugging up in like 2 years. It's fine. Those 1,000 words will help you. But use that extensively. Use it in your daily conversation. Use it with your parents. Use it in your thinking language. Use it when you're thinking in English, so that that vocabulary consolidates. It's not about the number of words that you've mugged up, but how many words from that list you can keep using when the opportunity presents itself. So therefore, juxtapose having a good vocabulary vis-a-vis a useful vocabulary. See, I did the word juxtapose there. So that's a new word that I learned. So bottom line is that build a vocabulary that you can use rather than building a vocabulary that is just there up in the air with thousands and thousands of words that you're not using. Now the fifth tip is that you must gain confidence, because the first 4 points will allow you to get to a certain stage, but if you're not confident, yeah, bad, right? So you must understand the entire journey of becoming a confident speaker. It starts by building skills. So the first 4 points that I've spoken about, these will allow you to build basic skills. Then subsequently, you must start practicing these skills in a low risk environment. Again, I'll say that. You must practice these skills in a low risk environment. So low risk environment would be that you go and speak with your friends if you have a good equation with them. But a high risk environment would be that your teacher prods you that, you know what, that go and speak in front of 1,000 people on a stage, and you get nervous, you run away, and then you never go back to stage. That happens with a lot of kids. Bad strategy, because what you're doing there is that you're putting too much pressure on that kid, or in this case, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Okay, let me give you another example. For example, if you have not prepared well for an interview, then you go to an interview and you get nervous and you ramble and then you mess up the entire thing. You come back, tell your friends, tell your parents that, you know what, I knew everything, but I just messed up the interview. Then you yourself will start doubting your abilities. Why? Because you have performed badly in a high risk environment. So it's very important for you, number one, to get skilled so that you can start practicing your skills in a low risk environment first. So low risk environment would be go speak with your parents, go speak with your friends, go speak with your siblings. Then comes the advanced stage, right? So advanced stage would mean that go speak with tutors on Cambly. Super friendly people, you gain the confidence that, hey, if I can speak with an American or if I can speak with an Australian in their native language, it means that I'm good in conversing in that language. So that gives you confidence. From there on, you can start putting yourself in a slightly more high risk environment. And with that sequential approach, you will gain confidence. Confidence is not like a switch, right? Okay, one morning I don't have confidence, next morning I somehow gain confidence. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to take these things in a sequential, logical steps. Now here is me conversing with a tutor from Cambly. Do you like cricket more or football more or soccer?
I don't like cricket. I love it.
So you have been teaching on Cambly, or do you do like other stuff along with this?
Yes, it's been since the beginning of the year. I think I had my 6-month anniversary last week. I got a nice message from Cambly. Thank you, Cambly. If you can see on YouTube, thank you for the message. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now comes the sixth and final tip, which is less is more. Now this is a concept that I covered briefly on my earlier points, but this is a point in itself. Very, very important point. So what do I mean by less is more? First and foremost, you must make that mindset shift that the less you speak, the better it is. The more you speak in an interview or even in an informal setting, the people are going to get bored.
Boring!
And you might end up rambling more and more and more. So less is more, that is the agenda. Now why is that? Very simple, that right now in this age and era that people have very short attention span. When I make 20-minute knowledgeable video, people say that, you know what, Taapse Pannu can make a 3-minute video, why can't you? So people have a very small attention span. Super important for you to understand that. So therefore, communicate effectively. Now 3-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute, it depends on the context. So of course, I can't give you a measure there. If you're giving a very heavy presentation, of course you need time. But if something can be said in 1 minute, say it in 1 minute. Don't take 1.5 minutes to do that because people might get bored. So very important thing, understand that less is more. Very important. Number 2, please understand simplicity. For example, when you're constructing your sentences that you're speaking, don't try to construct sentences which are more than 15 words because your sentence gets complex. So less is more, because if you construct 10-word sentences or 12-word sentences, other person might be able to grasp those points in an easier manner. So here are 6 points that I discussed with you on today's video. Go and implement this. Tell me how did you find this video. Share it with your friends so that they also grow in their careers. The bottom line or the entire summary of the video is that do simple things but do it effectively with confidence, and that can be a game changer for your career. Thank you so much, and I will see you the next time.